Welcome back. You're still tuned in to News and Views on myself, Salailo Makwidiri. And the time is what? 7 minutes past 9 Central African time. And we're going to be switching gears to, I think, a story that has gripped headlines worldwide. The recent siege of the Madeleine. I'm sure you've heard about it. It's all over social media. It was a British flagged vessel that was part of the Gaza Freedom Flotilla. And it was essentially, making its way to Gaza until, Israeli forces detained it in international waters. The story has reignited global outrage over the continued blockade of Gaza and Israel's targeting of humanitarian missions. On board the Madeleine were 12 unarmed activists, including, I think, most notable Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg. There was also Irish actor Liam Cunningham, and there was Turkish volunteer Hussein Suab Ordu, who managed to record a video before losing contact. And in that video, is essentially stating that him and 11 others have essentially been kidnapped by the Israeli occupying forces. And Israel has confirmed with also the visuals, the arrest of the crew, and governments all across the world have denounced the seizure as a violation of international law, and there are growing demands for diplomatic pressure to secure their release. We don't know what's currently happening right now. We don't know the state of health that they are in. There's been anything released, I think, apart from a few, pictures and videos from yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a really, really dire situation, and one that I think in a lot of ways this kind of behavior was expected from Israeli occupying forces. I think we all, expected something, whether it was, members of the flotilla being captured, or, it's having the flotilla itself being attacked and being blown over because of the impunity that the pariah state of Israel has been conducting itself by. We all knew that something of this nature was going to happen. And joining us now is Sumera Ordu, the sister of Hussein Ordu, who's being detained currently by the IDF. Sumera herself is also a member of the Freedom Flotilla coalition, and she'll be speaking to us not just as a family member of someone that is being detained by the IDF, but as someone that's also directly involved in the mission to break the siege on Gaza and, help deliver that much critical humanitarian aid. We've all seen the images, we've all seen the videos, and to say that the situation is dire is more than just an understatement. I think it's on proportions that have never been seen before in recent human history. Sumera, Jazakallah so much for joining us. Welcome to Salam Media. Thank you for giving us your time in what must be a very deeply stressful time for you. How have your family received, the news of your brother being detained by the IDF? And has there been any direct communication from authorities of any kind since the detention?
As first, thank you also for giving me the opportunity to speak here in Salam Media. By the way, I'm the wife of Shoaib Ordu. His sister is also kind of involved in these things, but I'm since last year in the Freedom Flotilla coalition as a participant committee, and yes, my husband Shoaib is involved in the technique things. So he was important really for the Madeleine to fix all the technique things. And about the last situation, I can say that I'm always in contact with the foreign ministries, because he's a Turkish citizen. I'm in contact with the Turkish foreign ministry. But since they had kidnapped from the Israeli soldiers, it's really hard to have some really clearly information from them, because even if I'm talking always with them on the phone, I realize that even for them, for the Turkish foreign ministry, it's hard to have some information from the Israelis, because they are doing something and give not many information. At first, they said Um, we also want to. Sorry. Uh,
No problem.
yes. By the way, I have to say it. When the Turkish Foreign Ministry is calling me, I have to pick up, but it's not so important as the
Mm,
ministry now. Um, yes, at first the Israelis said just to the ministries, all of the ministries, because this coalition is so international that also in this Matlianship we have seven different nationalities, and my husband is the only Turkish citizen now in the Matlianship. And yes, at first they just said, the Israelis, that they also want to release our group, our volunteers. But after this, we had so many information. Also, as you said, the propaganda photos with some bread and
mm,
water. Um, do they really believe that I can believe them, that they are so kind to them? After this, we heard that the Israelis said we also want to release them as soon as possible. Um, they were yesterday at late evening on the Ashdod port after they got kidnapped, and then um, they were in the airport, but there is a place in the airport where they are separated, and the Israelis asks some question. And after this, I have got the information. Maybe you also read it in the internet, that Greta and some other friends were separated in a room, and they forced her and her friends to watch a video from like Hamas and
mm.
so on. And it was really annoying. I have also heard that they that they rejected to watch this video. And now the updated situation is so that that the Israelis are forcing them to sign some papers, but we have really no clearly information about this. So our lawyers from the FFC, from the human activists organization called Adala, are there. They are trying their best. I trust them. And I
Mm.
hope that we will have some good news now. Because of this, I'm saying when the ministry or the lawyers are calling, I have to pick up. I'm sorry.
All right, all right. No, definitely. I think it makes a lot of sense. But let's just talk about the family. And how you guys are taking all of this. I'm sure it's a very stressful moment psychologically. We know what the ITF is capable of. They are ones that are not scared to take anyone's life at any given moment. How are you coping? What's keeping you going? Through this very very difficult time for you and your family.
Yeah, I think I said it also to my friend yesterday. If I would not in this organization since last year, it would be really, really more hard and worse for me to keep strong, because we were prepared for this. We know the worst scenarios. We talked about it many, many times. So, as you said, we know what the Israelis are able to do, but we try to keep calm, and I'm also trying to keep calm because I know that's the true way. And without any, without any energy, without any consequences, it's really impossible to do something which is true in this world, because justice is something you have to earn, unfortunately.
Mm,
And because of this, I know this. I'm also proud of my husband. If they would have some more plays, I would be also in this ship, because last year we were prepared for the bigger ship together.
mm,
and we were supposed to be in the bigger ships last year. Last month we were also in Malta. It was a ship with a capacity from 80 people, and we were bombed really in European waters, and we were waiting for the ship, which had 18 volunteers from Turkey. And on the moment where our volunteers were in the ship, and we were in Malta, like 18 miles far away from us, they were bombed in the night. And that was also a disaster. But we, as you see, we didn't give up. 1 month after this, we started the mission with the Madeleine, even if it's small, it's a symbol. Even if the humanitarian aid which we carried into the ship is maybe not enough, we know it, but it's a symbol and it's a first step. And I'm also proud, and I know that we as the Freedom Flotilla Coalition did our best to show to all the complicit governments, when you are doing nothing, we are doing this as a civil society, as a civil movement. So I think the people who has to feel worse are the Israelis, because they can't stop us.
Definitely. And I think, you touched on something that's very, very important. Just the symbolism of the Freedom Flotilla, because social media was abuzz regarding the Madeleine and its purpose. There was a lot of people saying, this was a selfie moment. It's selfie activism, because what's a few bags of aid going to do for the people of Gaza, without understanding really it's about the symbolism. And we were talking to my team just yesterday about just how much even the capture of the members of the Madeleine in itself, in a lot of ways played in the hands of broader solidarity and activism, because we want the world to know. We want those that, who are not really converted, who might not really understand the plight and struggle of the people of Palestine and the impunity of the Israeli government, to see it firsthand, it being streamed. Can you maybe stress a bit more on that, on the symbolism of the Freedom Flotilla, and how maybe it's important that these kind of conversations are heard, and respond to those that are saying it was a selfie moment, having influencers like Greta, it's in itself saying, look, we want to be seen by the world as people that are in solidarity with Palestine, and we want to be famous, or I don't know, make a fortune out of it, which there's no fortune in Palestinian solidarity. I can tell you that for free.
Yeah. So Greta said it also many, many times in her interviews, and I know her now. At the time we were working, we are working since more than a month, and I know that she's really a kind person, and says, when I have a platform like this with many people where I can have attention, it's my duty, it's my job to use this for a good reason. So it's really simple. Greta is in this ship because she knows that, because with the help of her platform, we can take more attention. So Rima also, as a European Parliament member, she's also in the ship, and we invited her because we knew it's important to have also some people like this, so we can show all the world that this mission is not a suicide mission, that this mission is not a mission from a kindergarten where some activists are acting like, hey, come to the ship, we're taking a journey. It's not something like this. And about the first question with the symbol, when the people would know how much energy is behind the scenes, even if it was a small ship, it took so many times to prepare this. And we tried to also prepare bigger and bigger ships in Turkey. The 3 ships we prepared for the mission to break the siege has a capacity for 1,000 people. We were like like 500 or 600 people last year in Istanbul, where we had the non-violence training for going into the ship, and members from 52 countries had come to Istanbul, even from Malaysia. You know, our team, Dr. Feuzia, Sima,
Mm,
and we had so good times with them. But when we are in a bureaucratic war like this, it's really hard to have bigger opportunities because the governments are passive, and we don't want to accept this, even if it's just a symbol like Madeleine. Because I know I have seen so many videos from the people of Gaza, that they are waiting for us, that they are taking photos from my husband and the team and the volunteers, and said, we had the hope since 2 years. It's also really, really beautiful for us to hear that some people from all over the world are, even if it's small, in a boat and coming to us with aid. And they also know that it's not enough, but it's the first step. And our goal is not to break the siege just with the Madeleine. When we can do it with the Madeleine, then we will do it after 2 or 3 weeks, maybe with another ship, and then
mm,
another ship, bigger, bigger, bigger. We need support. We need really more attention from people like who has more authority in this ship bureaucratic things, because ships are expensive, the bureaucratic things are really hard. And yeah, I can tell so many things about behind the
mm,
scenes, so it's really easy to say, huh, that's this, but when you can do, yeah, I would say to the people who are criticizing us, come and do it better. I'm okay with you.
and I'm sure no one is gonna come forward. Many people will remember the 2010 Mavi Marmara raid, and that Freedom Flotilla campaign, where there was essentially deaths. 10 civilians, most of them Turkish, were killed by Israeli forces. How do memories like that shape your personal sense of risk, especially as someone involved in organizing this mission, and right now, having your husband, being captured by the IDF?
um, it was the 15th anniversary when they decided for my husband that he will join the mission in the ship. And I think it's really emotional to think about these people. They were all of the 10 were Turkish. Just one of them was originally Turkish, but had the American passport. So it's not a coincidence that from all the people who were in this ship, because it was like this, 6 ships in 2010 were on their way to Gaza to break the siege. And yeah, just a coincidence. The
Mm,
Israeli soldiers came to the ship where the Turkish people were, and they shoot at them. You can also see this in YouTube in the documentary. It's really sad to see these scenes where blood are in the ship. And yeah, I'm also thinking about this, but it's worth it, because it's a real true fight for justice without any violence, because we want to show the world what we are doing. It is not violent. It's violent what they are doing because it's international law. It's illegal to kidnap us, to stop us when we are trying to give some aid and humanitarian aid to the people. So no, it's not important.
mhm,
So yes, Sorry, I forgot the last sentence.
No, I think we'll move on because we don't have much time with you. But my next question is a simple one. Are you scared for your husband's life right now? When you go to sleep at night, are you dreading a phone call that you might receive while you're sleeping or early in the morning that something might have happened? And how are you dealing with that fear?
Yeah, it's really hard to explain. I have two fears. One, of course, my husband, because since I'm back from Sicily and said goodbye to them, I couldn't sleep fully night. This
Mm,
night I had also some sleep for 3 hours or something like this, but I'm used to it, and it's worth to it. I am, of course, worried and concerned about the situation, but I know, as I said, it's the true way, and sometimes we have to give some price for it, even if it's sad, because it's, I can explain it also in an Islamic way. We're trying to have a good life as a Muslim, so we can say to Allah in the other world, we did our best. And I'm scared more about the situation that I'm gonna say to Allah in the other world, I didn't do anything. I don't want to be part of this, who would say in the other world, yeah, I just sat and watched these scenes and did nothing. So
mm,
that's the first fear. But the other fear I mentioned, and it also yesterday, is that we couldn't break the siege now. It's sad, but it's my fear that it can't. Yeah, I'm scared about the situation that the Israelis are taken so serious from the world, like they're true, like they are trying to make the best thing when they are giving some bread and water and watching them the videos. So they are trying to manipulate us, and
mm,
I'm really scared about this situation that. People who are sleeping cannot wake up and cannot help and support us to break the siege. We want to break the siege so everyone, yeah, can do something and support us.
I'm going to ask you one last question before I let you go because I'm sure it's a very, very busy time. There's so much that's currently happening. In closing, what do you want the world to know regarding the capture of your husband and the members of, the Madeline that maybe they don't know because of just how much of news is out there and the propaganda that's doing the rounds. And number two, just a message of solidarity to South Africans, to the rest of the world on Palestine, and why it is still so important to support the cause despite the circumstances that we're currently finding ourselves in currently.
So I can say to all the people who are listening now, please don't underestimate yourself. I'm just a human. My husband is just a human. We are trying to do our best, and I hope that it will be accepted from Allah. So, even if you are just a person, you can do something. And yeah, it's such a good time to see some people who are also fighting for justice, because the world is so bad when we are closing our eyes. It's just it's just a dream, and you cannot say to yourself that it's okay to watch these people who are really suffering. And please don't ignore, the world is suffering, not just the people in Gaza. I'm talking about all the people who are suffering in this world, and when we are in a comfortable zone, we have to keep trying, because that's our duty. The people who are comfortable has to help the people who are suffering. So please don't underestimate yourself. You can do every time, even if it's a ship, even if it's a convoy. Maybe you heard from the march to Gaza,
Mm,
they are preparing now I heard yesterday that there are now 80,000 people, 8,000 people. And yes, keep trying, don't give up.
Hmm. No, definitely. And I think we're going to leave on that note, Sumera. Thank you so much for joining us. You're in our thoughts and our prayers. If there's one thing that I'm sensing from you is, if I would be speaking to someone else, that would be just breaking apart, because that fear is real. As we spoken earlier about what we've seen the IDF to be capable of. And I'm seeing so much strength in you, as you speak, there's no fear. You're like, there's a bigger cause. Yes, your husband might be captured right now, but it's part of something that's greater than you. It's part of something that's more impactful than just you having him at home. And it's really inspiring to see. And you in our thoughts on our prayers, and you are really, please read up on Nelson Mandela's wife, Winnie Mandela. When Nelson Mandela was captured and was arrested for 20 plus years. I'm getting that from you. It's a beautiful, beautiful sight, and you in our thoughts and prayers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
There you go. There was a Sumera Ordu coming to us live from Frankfurt. Her husband is currently being captured right now, along with 11 others in the Freedom Flotilla. We've all seen it. We've all read about it. It's made our timelines on social media, and just seeing the strength, man. If you know Winnie Mandela, the late wife of a former statesman here in South Africa, how she was speaking, how boldly she was carrying herself during a very, very dark time when Nelson Mandela was arrested, and she was saying it's not about me, it's not about having this man at home, it's about something bigger and more broader, and more demanding than just what I want personally. And I'm getting that sense. So we'll be giving you, all the updates that will be coming out regarding the 12 that have been captured by the IDF. It's a very, very pressing story. I think in a lot of ways they just played in the hands of broader Palestinian solidarity. That's the idea. If we knew something like this was going to happen, and so predictable, hey, so simple-minded. They went about it in their AK-47s and their drones to attack and detain essentially peaceful 12 activists who are unarmed. And the fear now is because we've seen the impunity that they carry themselves in, because we've seen how they can decapitate the elderly, they can decapitate women and children, babies, newborns, without any humanity, anything that resembles what a normal human being would respond like that happens. It gives you a sense of uneasiness, scared, the headlines that we might wake up to tomorrow morning regarding the 12 that have been captured. But the positive is the eyes and ears of the world are fully fixed on the Madeline and the 12 that made up the crew. And that's what's important. And that's what we should be doing for Gaza also. Making sure that it's always trending number one on our timelines, making sure that we have these kinds of conversations. Because if we ignore it, if we become desensitized to it, then we are playing in the hands of the Zionist Israeli pariah state government. So, as I mentioned, we'll try and give you as much information regarding the 12 that have been captured. We're very close links. I mean, we just spoke to Sumeyra, the wife of one of the 12 unarmed activists. And yeah, let's stop, trying to make things about what they're not. What's pressing right now is the lives of the people of Palestine and the activists, the people that are saying we're not going to sit back. We're going to go out there and face whatever danger that comes our way to make sure that attention is drawn to their plight. We're going to take a quick break. News and views continues after this.